well. So I'm going to crack on. We are going to begin with discussing a year in the life of BST. It is the annual general meeting, so it's an appropriate time to look back at what we've actually achieved. We're hoping that you feel that your £5 membership is worthwhile. And when we've put everything down on paper, it's absolutely incredible how much has been done in the space of 12 months. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, so please don't worry about that. But I would like to start with a mention of last September, which was the launch of the Fans Not Numbers campaign. This was started by a gentleman called Jamie Fuller, who is the Chief Exec of sportswear company Skins. We have tried very hard in this last 12 months to bring a change in football governance. It's going to be a long haul, I think, but we did start it 12 months ago, and we were very proud that it was Blackpool Supporters Trust and in Blackpool that this campaign was launched. We were part of the panel at every single event that was around the country, and we thank the BST members that took part in that. Throughout our last 12 months, we've had lots of ups and downs, and we've had lots of events. We do like to be part of the community. We are part of the community, and to be able to collect money and raise funds for various individuals and causes is very dear to our heart. So you'll see quite a bit of that on the list. I have to mention last November, the 6th of November, which was an outstanding day because that was the judgment day of the case between Valerie Bellicon and Owen Oyston. And I'm sure I don't have to remind people that Valerie Bellicon was awarded £31.27 million on that day. It was absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, we're nearly 12 months on and we're still waiting to get our football club back. But there is no doubt that that was the start of the financial tsunami that is going to sweep Mr. Oyston away eventually. Last November we were very proud as well to have our Remembrance Day observation outside the ground. Portsmouth fans, they joined in with us. And we were able to lay a wreath, and those wreaths were then moved to the cenotaph at Blackpool. Something, again, very important to football fans all around the country that make these observations. And it's sad that we weren't inside the ground to be part of Blackpool FC's, but we did it outside instead. We've been involved in supporting food banks. We've raised money for Trinity Hospice. As we all know, very sadly, in January of this year, Jimmy Armfield passed away. And in honour of him, we were able to create some memorial scarves, and this raised over £2,500 for the hospice, which was very dear to Jimmy's heart. We've been involved on a global scale. I was invited to go over to a conference in Rome about sporting integrity, and I was very, very pleased to be able to tell people from literally all over the world, including members of UEFA, FIFA, the Olympic Association, just exactly what was going on at Blackpool. Most of them had never even heard of Blackpool till I got there, but they do now. So, you know, we really are trying to get the message out there about what's happening, not just at our club, but in football generally. We launched an online petition, a parliamentary petition in February. Unfortunately, we didn't reach anywhere near the 100,000 signatures we wanted. Blackpool fans were great, but we're up against the apathy of other clubs. But I do believe that as more and more clubs are suffering from rogue owners, hopefully more supporters will start to realise the importance of fan action, because it really is down to us to make a difference. We also, of course, had our first protest in March outside the EFL offices in Preston, and this was followed up with a meeting with Sean Harvey at the De Vere here in Blackpool. Not that it's got us very far, but we are trying. We have to start somewhere. We are at the forefront of the move for change. And of course, you know, later in September, the beginning of this month, we had our second protest. So we're certainly not giving up on it. It is early days, but we are moving forward. In April, we had a meeting of the North West Football Supporters Federation group, and Chris Mathieson, who is the MP for Chester and he's a member of the DCMS, Departure of Culture, Media and Sport, he attended. He's somebody else we've got on board. We need to get politicians on board if we are going to succeed in getting an independent regulator for football. And I hope many of you saw the billboard that we organised that was directly opposite the EFL headquarters in Preston, which showed them in graphic colour why we're not very happy with them. Members of your committee, we do attend various meetings and conferences set up by Supporters Direct, with Supporters Trusts and different workshops. We're constantly trying to be involved in what's going on and improving our skills, and that's what these things are for. We also had attendance at the Independent Football Ombudsman's general meeting, which was in June. Was that for BST? I didn't hear that, no. In June we also had a fundraising event for Paul Stewart. I know many of you were there. It was a great evening, and Paul is an ex-player who has a fantastic charity called SAVE, which is about safeguarding young people after the terrible experiences that he suffered. So that's something, and he's somebody that we will continue to work with. There will be future events. In July we attended the Supporters Direct and Football Supporters Federation AGMs in London. We will be talking about that because there was a vote for a merger. We didn't vote for the merger, but everybody else did, I'm afraid. In August we had our protest and rally prior to the first home game of the season. We were very sad that it was necessary and that we are still having to stand outside before every home game, but you know, we're not giving up, so we will keep going with that. And then finally, up to this September, we had our second annual golf day, which raised a fair bit of money. We'll come to that at the end of the meeting. And we also had our second EFL protest. In addition to all of that, those are standout events in the last 12 months, but there's a great long list here of the many, many things that Blackpool Supporters Trust do. Writing articles, Gazette columns. We've been involved with the court reporting, all the different court hearings that there have been. Media, newsletters, you name it, we're involved in it. So I hope you'll have a good read and take on board the many things that we've done. I think BST have had a very successful year. We thank every single person that's involved, all of you who are members. It's so important to sign up and to remember to renew. And please continue to encourage family and friends to join us. Thank you very much.